I've been reading some concerning newspaper articles today, mostly this morning, and I want to focus on one from the Mail Online, which is entitled "Home Secretary Priti Patel will order police to stop protests involving more than 2 people during lockdown." Priti Patel, the Home Secretary in the UK, that's basically the person in charge of the police force and sort of home affairs, wants to cancel all protests by banning gatherings of more than 2 people. The right to peaceful protest is protected by UK law under Section 11 of the Human Rights Act from 1998, but the government seem happy to pick and choose when our rights apply at the moment, as long as they say their actions are to stop the spread of COVID-19. Make of that what you will. That's my opinion on the matter. As long as they're saying we're doing this to protect you from the virus, people seem to be happy to go along with whatever it is that they're choosing to do. At a time such as this, when so many controversial policies are being rushed through Parliament with barely any scrutiny from MPs at all under the guise of protecting us from COVID-19, a virus which has a survival rate of over 99% for average healthy person under the age of 75. I mean, fair enough if you are an old guy, if you're, 80, you've got underlying health issues, or you're obese or whatever, then yeah, you'd be frightened of this. But I don't understand why a reasonably healthy 45-year-old would be concerned about this virus at all. Why is it worth wrecking our economy? Is it worth wrecking the economy? I don't think so. As I've said in previous videos, I firmly believe that the government is overreacting to COVID-19, and I believe that they are somewhat drunk on power and feel that since they're able, under the COVID-19 protection umbrella, they'll be able to strip away as many of our freedoms as they can, while they can. And they'll keep on going and going and going and going, and they'll hammer it down our throats. This is for COVID, this is because of COVID, this is because of COVID. We are keeping you safe, don't you worry. We'll keep you safe from this COVID. And a real worrying trend for me is that people just seem to believe everything that the government is saying at the moment, without question. And mainstream media outlets, they believe everything that's coming out of the TV without question. I mean, when have people ever trusted the government? I can't think of a time when you would just trust the government to be telling the truth about anything that's coming out of their mouths, to be honest. As far as I'm concerned, the government couldn't give a monkey's chuff about your health. They don't care if you live or die at all, as long as you're going to work, paying taxes, usually anyway. But for some reason, at the moment, they feel the need to frighten people. They feel the need to take away people's freedoms, our freedoms, and lock us in our houses for as much as possible. You've got to ask yourself why they're doing it. If you're not asking yourself why they're doing it, then I don't know, there must be something the matter with you. I really think so. It's a very strange affairs, strange days that we're living in. Really odd times. People seem depressed. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to live, with lockdowns and stuff. So this lockdown's going to now carry on until December. I presume they're going to maybe lower us to tier 3 or something, give us Christmas, and then lock us all back up until March or April or whatever, and then force some sort of vaccine on us. This seems to be the route that they're taking. I honestly don't understand why people are just trusting the government, that the government have got our best interests at heart. I mean, you've got to be joking us. But I digress from the purpose of this video, so let's just get back to this article that I was reading, and we'll go through some of the key points here. And here we go. Protests of more than 2 people will be banned during the month-long lockdown set to start on Thursday, according to Whitehall sources. Ministers have said rules need to be clear, and Home Secretary Priti Patel is said to have briefed chief constables over the weekend to tell officers to enforce the rules. However, it is believed that some senior officers were worried that the move is too oppressive for a liberal society. A Whitehall source told The Times that even though protests won't explicitly be prohibited, the previous exemption, which allowed demonstrations of more than 2 people, would be removed. I have paraphrased the article slightly, but the link to the full article is in the description, of course, so if you want to read the whole thing, feel free to go there and do that. So this is the last part of the article. A Home Office spokesman told the publication, that's The Times, quote, "The right to peaceful protest is one of the cornerstones of our democracy. In these unprecedented circumstances, any gathering risks spreading the disease, leading to more deaths. So it is vital we all play our part in controlling the virus. People must follow the rules on meeting with others, which apply to all gatherings and therefore protests too." End quote. To me, these seem like really draconian measures that are simply put in place there to stop any opposition to the narrative, to the mainstream narrative and the government's narrative of COVID-19 and pushing in restrictions and taking away liberties from people. I mean, it's ludicrous to say that they're stopping gatherings of more than 2 people. I mean, so what, you can go and protest by yourself, but what the heck would be the point in that? So it's basically so they can say they aren't removing the right to protest completely, because, as mentioned earlier, this the right to protest is protected by the Human Rights Act, actually. So this way, I guess, they're still allowing protests, but you just can't meet more than yourself. Get yourself out there with a placard and see how effective a one-man protest could be. Not very, I dare say. Surely you would agree with me in saying that this is like pretty strict measures that will be coming in from the government, and no doubt there'll be no opposition to this whatsoever, really, and other than the odd person, but it will get voted through Parliament. Just watch this space. And another thing that gets to me as well is that as soon as somebody says anything away from the mainstream sort of narrative, it's shot down as conspiracy theory. But like, just think about this, right? If we go back a year and somebody told you a year ago that you're going to end up being locked in your house, potentially not being able to see your family at Christmas time, and that before that you had already been locked in your house for months on end because of a virus. If someone told you a year ago that if you wanted to go to the shop, to the supermarket to buy pasta, you're going to have to wear a mask to go in there, a face mask, people would have said you were crazy. They said there's no way that could happen in the next year. Isn't that right? Surely. Nobody would have predicted a year ago that this is the way we'd be living today. People a year ago would have told you, you are a conspiracy nut. You are a conspiracy nut. Here is your tinfoil hat. There's no way in hell that we will be locked in our houses, told when we can go out, where we can go, what shops are allowed to open, which businesses can operate. There's no way anybody would have predicted this. There's no way anybody would have thought this was a credible thing. So the whole conspiracy theory label, I mean, I don't know, it's annoying. It's strange that people refuse to think outside the box at all, and I really don't understand why you wouldn't have a bit of critical thought on this matter. Again, like, I don't understand why you would believe the government. Why do you believe that Boris Johnson gives a hoot about your health? I'd love to hear from people in the comments if you actually think the government or Boris or any of those guys give a shit if you live or die. As always, I just want to say thanks for your time and listening and watching this video. I do hope you enjoy it, and if you do, if you're interested in more content, and subscribe, leave a like, comment on the video. I'd love to have some interaction. Comment and I'll have a chat with you. But for now, take it easy and ta-ra.